Yo, welcome back to the Hardly Marty Podcast. I'm bringing you another great video on the internet about something that's going to blow your mind just as much as it blows my mind. So, I always want to start the videos out with thanking people for tuning in, thanking you for listening. So, it's just great to do that. So, today's topic is going to be really digging deep into yourself in a way, and something that I've kind of like really gotten into as a hobby recently. Not like a hobby, like a lifestyle. So, if you want to give me 1 second, try to send this video out. So, this, I've been reading a lot of books for self help. Not really self help like that I have problems, but that like I want to improve in my life. And I feel like I feel like this episode's gonna be really great for people who like don't really know. Like I've from what I've noticed on the internet and on my Snapchats, like everyone's like, I'm depressed, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm like, I feel like this episode could really help a lot of people. So this guy I learned about, his name's David Goggins. And this book I read that I've been reading for the past couple of days has been, it's called You Can't Hurt Me. And this guy is all mindset. I mean, his mindset is out of this world. And he's like an ordinary guy that came from nothing and made something of himself. And so the book starts out with his life. And I'm gonna read about him real fast to people who don't know him. So it reads, David Goggins is a retired Navy SEAL and the only member of the U.S. Armed Forces ever to complete SEAL training, U.S. Army Ranger School, and Air Force Tactical Air Controlling Training. Goggins has competed in more than 60 ultramarathons, triathlons, and ultra triathlons, setting new course records and regularly placing in the top five. He's a former Guinness World Record holder for completing 4,030 pull ups in 17 hours. This guy's mindset is out of this world. And the reason it fascinates me so much is because like I've myself has been working on mindset, improving myself on a day-to-day life, whether it's starting something out by making my bed every morning or waking up at a certain time every morning or just constantly looking at ways to improve myself. And when I came across this book, I was like, I've got to read this book. And the way I found him was a lot of people listen to Joe Rogan. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast and I was listening to him and he just fascinated me. So I had to get his book. And his book is all about overcoming obstacles and making something of yourself and coming from nothing. So, in the beginning of his book, he talks about his life story and about, he came from an abusive dad, that, beat his mom, that he beat him and his brother. And it's like this guy has had so many things thrown at him in his whole life, whether it's from his race, he grew up in he went to white schools with a bunch of white kids and he was bullied for being the only black kid. His grades were D's and F's. And the one thing I like with the book is he posts stuff like that throughout the book. Like he posted his report card and the grades he got. So I was like, wow, that's it's kind of cool to do actually, because it kind of like makes it more credible. But he came from crappy beginnings, and a lot of people, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that come from crappy beginnings and have a lot of stuff that kind of holds them back. Everybody's got obstacles, but he doesn't let himself get taken down by them obstacles. I'm like, that's awesome. It's inspirational, and that's what I love about this book. It's very inspirational. And so, despite his beginnings, he made something of himself. He joined the military. He set a Guinness World Record of 4,030 pull-ups, which to me is insane as fuck. 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours. One of the other biggest obstacles he did was or life things he did was ran a 100-mile race with no preparation whatsoever and completed it. Fucking completed it. That to me is out of this world. And so some of the things in this book I really want to talk about and kind of hope that people listening to this will kind of be like, maybe I can do something with my life that will change it a little bit. And I'm not gonna sit there and talk about like I'm gonna talk about this, but I'm not gonna pretend like I'm an expert in this field. I'm not gonna pretend like I know how to fix your problems and all that kind of stuff. I just want to kind of put it into your mind maybe a little bit and help you out if you are struggling in life. This is, I'm not perfect either. This is why I read books like this to help myself. Like one of the other books I read was Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules of Life, which gave me a bunch of cool advice actually that I've used and put into my life. So one of the things I want to talk about was his 40% rule. And the reason I find this rule so crazy and so fascinating is because he says that people on an average person only operates at 40% of their potential. And he puts this into his book because everything he's overcome, he's like, everybody quits, when, for example, if you're running on a treadmill and you feel that pain, and then you stop and you go back up, you keep going, and then let's say and then you do break through that pain, you keep going, and he says that's only 40% of what you think you can do. And that's like, I was like, and in my head I'm like, am I only operating at 40%? I mean, what can I do in my life to be better, to better myself, you know? So that's what I like about it. The 40% rule is kind of something to take into consideration, something I definitely have. So that is definitely awesome. Another one of my favorite things I want to talk about is, other than the 40% rule, my favorite thing about the whole book is his accountability mirror. And for those of you who know me, know that on my mirror, I have a bunch of cheesy stuff written down, if you want to call it that. I actually like it personally. But he talks about in your life, what holds you back or what can you do to improve on. So my mirror obviously says, on the top left, it says bed, hygiene. Below that is the only obstacle in your life is you. And then to the right of it, it says VIP, very important person, with two arrows pointing at your reflection. And then on my little side mirror, it says look good, feel good. For obviously gym reasons, you go to the gym, you start to look physically good, you start to feel good. But in my head, I'm like, I'm going to the gym for mental. And after that, when you start forcing yourself to go, what comes out of the gym is physical, and that's what makes you feel good. So you kind of feel good going into the gym, knowing that you're going on your cycle, and the outcome's kind of physical. So, and I know it's a little backwards because everyone's like, you go to the gym, you start to look good, then you start to feel good. I kind of like to look at it as you feel good going to the gym on a everyday cycle. You're going, you're waking up, you spend an hour or so in there, and then the outcome is you start to look good, then you feel good. Maybe my mind's a little backwards. I can see how it is, but I like to look at it as look good or feel good, look good in a way. So his accountability mirror is, it's like his chapter I think is the harsh truth or something like that, some along the lines. Can't remember, but he he tells you like in your life, for example, if you're fat, and I'm not trying to like fat shame anybody, but he says, if you're fat, then put a post-it note in the mirror saying you're fat. He's like, you need to be true with yourself on who you are, what you need to improve upon, and that's the only way to tackle goals in life. You know, if you're not good at math, you're not good at math, so improve on it. And he says a lot of people don't want to be real with themselves. So that's something I've feel like that will definitely help me. I'm not very good at, despite me wanting to make my bed every morning. I'm real. I don't make it every morning. Should I? And I probably will. But yeah, it's something I want to work on. I'm not a fast runner. I know that I'm not a fast runner, so I'm gonna work on my running fast. I tell myself I'm fast, but when you tell yourself that I I look good and I'm happy with who I am. It's like it's all right to be happy with who you are, but it's also good to always know that you could always improve and be better than the person who you were yesterday or a month ago. If you're the same person you were 2 years ago, why? Why not want to better yourself in the future? So that's kind of like a thing I've really kind of thought about, and it's like, wow, I mean, who I was maybe a year ago, I feel like I'm the same person who I was a year ago, and I don't know. So a lot of people disagree, but I mean, that's just kind of their thing. So David Goggins, man, this book is just completely. I mean, this book has just completely blown my mind away on so many levels, and just made me really open up on so many just thoughts. So one of the just a few like sentences I want to read from the book real fast. So he says, "quote On a typical day, I'd be at the door for my first run just after 4 a.m. and back by 5:15 a.m. Since that wasn't enough for me, and because we only owned one car, I rode my bike. I finally got my own shit. 25 miles to work. I'd work from 7:30 to noon and eat at my desk before or after my lunch break. During the lunch break, I'd hit the gym for an out for during the lunch break, I'd hit the gym or do a 4 to 6 mile beach run, work the afternoon, and hop on my bike for the 25 5 mile ride home. By the time I was home by at 7 p.m., I'd have run about 15 miles, walked 50 miles on the bike, and put in a full day at the office. And he was always in bed by 10 p.m. I mean, this dude maximized his day to the full potential. And I feel like that's something that could really help a lot of people. And he obviously you can count the hours in a day, but one of the things he came up with was there's 160 hours in a week. And, you know, so 8 hours, there's you sleep 8 hours a day if you want to get a good night's sleep. So you get 56 hours of sleep. So just on with sleeping in a full 168 hours, you got 112 hours of open. And obviously people who work 40 hours after, your sleep and your full schedule of work, you have 72 free hours throughout the week. And so one of the questions is, what are you doing with those 72 hours? Is it, and there's, it's fine to have free time and do what you want to do, but why not use some of those 72 hours to work on something to improve yourself? You know, if, you're bad at math, why not use 2 hours or 3 or 5 hours, whatever, to study math? Or if you're not very fit, why not spend some of those hours at the gym? So he talks about maximizing, your day, your hours throughout the week. And that's something that I really like from this book too. So, I mean, this book is just blowing my mind away. And I really wish I had somebody else on this podcast to talk about it with, but nobody else wants to join me. So that's just like three things that I think really stood out in this book. He talks a lot about, his time in the military, how he's grown in a mindset. I mean, part of the book talks about, even in the military, he was in charge of a section, a platoon, and he even, they said he was too motivated at times just to be in, while they were out drinking and partying. This motherfucker was still training, he was still studying. I mean, that is some crazy next level shit. I mean, aside from the 4,000 pull-ups, that's a whole nother thing. But it's this book. I mean, I could go on and on, but it's really opened my mind to what is possible. What can you do? What am I capable of? If this motherfucker can run 100 miles without training, what the fuck is he capable of? Or what am I capable of? So, I mean, this fucking book, dude, is crazy. Sorry, I'm a little busy. I'm trying to send this video out to links to people, see if they'll listen. So, another thing that really kind of opened my mind, and then I finished that book, and I hope that a lot of people read this book. I really do. I mean, I really feel like this book will help a lot of people. I said even if you're not lost in life or whatever. I mean, I feel like like I said, there's always room to improve yourself. There's always room to be better. So another book. I'm not going to name the book because I feel like it's not. I don't think it's really the time to. But this other book, one of the questions was, oh, geez, what was the question? So, okay. So we live in a time. We live in one of the best times in history to ever live in. You go back 10, 15, 20. You go back any time in history, and the best time to live in is now. you can communicate to anyone in the world with with the touch of your phone. I mean, we have technology that's out of this world. We have medicines. I mean, you can go to the grocery store and get yourself some milk. You can go pretty much anywhere and you can make anything of yourself if you put your mind to it. And so one of the questions, well, why is everybody so upset? Why is everybody so polarized in today's society? I mean, you know, so one of the things I was, like I said, this is where it gets kind of deep. One of the things I was kind of looking up was, you know, so suicide obviously is a pretty big thing in the United States. And I looked up one of the things in 2017, there was 1.4 million attempts at suicide. And that's a pretty fucking high number. And like I said, I'm not an expert in this, and I'm not gonna fucking judge you for doing this. But I mean, why you live in one of the best times in history, and it's still affecting a lot of people. I mean, fucking obesity is so high. It was a 39.8%. That's affected 93.9 million people in 2015 to 2016. I mean those are some pretty scary numbers. So, and the one of the I was looking at the mental was it the National Institute of Mental Health. I was looking at that website. That's where I got all my stuff from. So if you want to go check it out, from 1999 to 2016, there was a 30% rise of suicide. So, I mean, almost a decade ago to now, suicide's only been getting fucking bigger. And so this is why I feel like I hope this episode kind of hits somebody, and I hope it kind of helps them out. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm not gonna. This is an episode. It's not gonna fix your life, but it's hoping it's like a stepping stone to maybe check something out. Take this in consideration. Do this. Do that. Because that's a pretty fucking serious thing, and I've got people in my life that struggle with this, so it is a pretty serious topic. So one of the other books I was reading was Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. And some of the rules I'm going to list that are not rules. Yeah, one of the rules that I really liked was treat yourself like you are someone you are responsible for treating. And the reason why I like this rule is because he gives examples. So like, you have a son and he's got to take medicine every day. So as a parent or someone you are taking care of, you're going to make sure, hey, take that medicine every day. Before you leave the house or whatever, you can be like, hey, make sure you take your pill. A lot of people don't take care of themselves like that. You skip your medicine for the day, and you're like, oh well, I'll take it tomorrow. You know, or you have like I said, the biggest example is having a kid. So if you have a kid, you want your kid to make something of themselves. You want them to give 100% in school. But why not do that to yourself? Why not push yourself to 100% like you would push your own kid? Look at your life like that. So that was something that really I was like, that's crazy. I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe I'm the only one, but I feel like, and he said this in his book. He's a psychologist, and he comes to a lot of his clients that he works with, and he says, they don't treat themselves right. They only half-ass shit. They only take care of themselves so much. So the question is like, why not? Why not want something better for yourself? You know, I feel like that'll help a lot of people out. I was listening to can't remember what's his name on the. I just listen a lot. I listen to a lot of fucking motivational videos on YouTube, and one of the things I actually like is small goals too. So one of the things, as I mentioned before, is making your bed every morning, and that's how you start by kind of improving it a little bit. I'm like, how the fuck is making my bed gonna make me a better person every day? I'm like, that's the stupidest shit. And you know, me being in the military, it's kind of different though. But as a normal person, I see, how the fuck is making my bed gonna be different? And I'm like, he says, when you make your bed, you wake up, you make your bed really good. And he's like, you've already completed one goal for the day. You've already knocked out something. You know, it's the small goals every day that build up every day. You know, make your bed, boom, something's done. Take out the trash, boom, another thing's done. You know, you got a few cups in the dishes, boom, knock them out. You've done three things, and you've done it all within what, an hour of being awake. So small stuff like that. And if you want to fold your clothes and then put them away, I mean, fuck, you just did that. You've done something, and it builds up to bigger things. And one of the things I kind of looked at is like, if you can't do small goals, what makes you think you can accomplish something bigger? If you can't fucking make your bed, what makes you think you can go, I don't know, invent something or a bigger goal? That's kind of the point of it. Doesn't really matter what kind of goal it is. So that's another thing that really hit my mind. And then I really like thought about like this stuff kind of opens my mind and like everybody that knows me knows that like I'm all about this kind of stuff, but I'm not very good at this stuff and I'll admit that. But like I said, this is something I could be working on. And I hope that a lot of other people work on. So, it's just kind of like every day I see, on whether it's Snapchat, I mean Snapchat is the only kind of social media that I use other than, Twitter, but I use that for work. But Snapchat's like, I'm so depressed, nothing's going my way, my friends, they did this and it's like, okay, and you know, when you put like blockades in your way, you you hold yourself back. It's like, okay, well, my friends are treating me bad. It's like, okay, and you know, fuck them. Fuck your friends. They're not worth your time. Surround yourself with people who want better for yourself. When you complain about it in a way, it like I said, it holds you back. You know, well, he said this about me. It's like, fuck that. Fuck what he said. It's like, you at the end of the day, one of the things I would say is like, you've got to want it for yourself. Even if you're by yourself, I got a lot of friends that tell me that it's like you have to want it. It's like, and that's kind of what David Goggins talks about. Like, he's like when he's like, obviously one of the things is he's black, and obviously the side we live in is like, black people are oppressed. He's like, fuck that. I'm black. I'm not oppressed. He's like, people sit there and say, like, well, you can't get anywhere in this world. People are holding you. Who's holding you down in this world? Who's the motherfucker holding you down? It's like it's only you. He's like, that's why his accountability is like you need to take accountability for yourself. You know, like it's good to have friends to support you. That's great. And you're gonna have obviously you're gonna have your haters, the classic, haters gonna hate type shit. But it's like your friends that support you, that's great. But who fucking cares? You gotta want it for yourself. The only real supporter that really matters is yourself. That's kind of things like, wow, you know, that's that to me, that's like, I mean, obviously if my friends give me advice, I'll take it into consideration, but you know, in my head, I'm like, you only need confirmation for yourself. That's kind of another cool thing that I've really thought about. So, this whole topic is just, it's like I said, it really hits crazy for me because it's something is that every day like I said, I'm always trying to improve myself, and I hope that people out there are always trying to improve themselves. Like, even doing this podcast, I'm like, I'm not a very good public speaker. I'm not very good at talking to a mic by myself without people joining me, but I feel like I've gotten a little better, and I'm kind of happy about that. I've bettered myself at something. Before I did this podcast, I wasn't very good at it, and now I'm good at it. So it's like that kind of stuff is very exciting to me. And like I said, this book is if you guys haven't read it, I would really recommend it. Another, trying to look at it, I'm trying to think of other stuff that I want to really hit, really want to dig deep on, other than that. There's not much other stuff I want to cover. As you guys can tell, I'm kind of passionate about this kind of stuff. So, trying to think of other stuff. My list wasn't very long when I made this list, though. So, let's see. Give good advice. Jordan Peterson kind of hit that topic. Well, shit, now I'm kind of dying down on stuff to talk about. Let's see other stuff that I want to talk about. This, yeah, I'm kind of stuck on shit to talk about right now, but yeah, so David fucking Goggins, man. If you guys don't really like how I explained him here, go check out him and Joe Rogan. He's got a really fucking fascinating thing. One of the stories he actually talks about was I think it was some guy that owns his own company, and he saw David Goggins, and so they were doing this. David Goggins and the CEO, they were doing a relay race, and so I guess what it was is there was a 6-man race. So you would run so many miles, tag your player or tag your teammate, run another or run so many, tag. You keep tagging. It's like a relay. You keep going, you breast, and then and he had a team of 6, and I can't remember how many miles it was, but David Goggins was by him fucking self. He was by himself. Everybody else had teams of 6, and this motherfucker was by himself running this race. And so the CEO, talked to David Goggins. He's like, that's the craziest shit I've ever seen. He's like, what are you doing? What are your secrets? And David Goggins like, I have no secrets. I just push myself. I always want better. I'm always, he calls it, was it callousing his mind? And he's like, embracing the suck. He's like, when your life sucks all the time, I mean, when it sucks, it just sucks. You can't get much worse. And it's kind of like a weird mindset to have. But anyways, so he's like, I'm gonna invite David Goggins over my house for a minute. And he's like, I want to invite David Goggins for 30 days. And and David Goggins woke this guy up, went to work with him, commuted with him everywhere, went, ate dinner with his family. He's just you just kind of get into his kind of like live his lifestyle. And one of the funniest things that I was uh, listening to was he's like this day there was a blizzard. It was snowing. It was blizzard out, and the news is like everybody stay inside. And he's like David Goggins was like fuck that. We're going on it was a 10-mile run, and he's like what? These guys are telling us to stay inside, and you want to go on a run? He goes yeah. He's like let's do it. So they go on the run, and they come back. And David Goggins is outside, and there's a pond he's got, and he breaks a hole in it, and he goes all right, I want you to jump in that pond. And it's blizzarding, it's cold as fuck, and he wants him to jump in a frozen pond of water. And he's like, "What? You want me to jump in that pond of water?" And he's like, "Yeah." So they both jump in the fucking water. And David Goggins, he's out here, he's just chillaxing in the cold ass water, and this CEO is freezing his ass off. And so they get out, and they go up to the house, and the CEO's wife asked David Goggins, she goes, "What's the health benefits of going in that pond of water, that freezing water?" And David Goggins is like, "There is none. I just wanted to see how far your husband would go to push himself." So I'm like, fuck. He's jumping in a fucking pond of frozen water to push himself. And that's David Goggins, man. He's always pushing himself. When he was doing his record of 4,000 pull-ups, when he took his gloves off, man, skin came off with his hands. I'm like, what sane person would do something so crazy that it takes off skin to his hands? His 100-mile race he did, he broke was like all of his small bones in his feet, both feet, and still fucking finished the race. So I mean, it really like fucking it shows like what can a human go through? How far can a human push itself? And like after reading this book, I'm like, what the fuck am I able to push myself to? What I mean, shit. Like I said, I feel like I live a pretty good life, but I mean, in my head, I'm like, is there what can I do on an everyday basis to push myself, better myself? You know, fuck. Instead of driving to the gym, can I fucking run the 3 miles to the gym, work out, and then run 3 miles back? That's not something I've obviously considered before. Might start doing it. I don't know. Fucking 3 miles is far as fuck. But shit. You know, and like I said, this is just push yourself. He said, I'm not perfect. No one I don't think in this world is perfect. So like I said, push yourself. Be the best at what you can do. And one of my friends actually gives good advice. He goes, if you work at McDonald's, be the best McDonald's worker. Be the best cook. If you fucking shovel dog shit for a living, be the best dog shit scooper you can fucking be. No matter what job you do, how dumb it is, how much you make, be the best at what you can do. And eventually people will start to notice. And, not the work I do, I'm only a fucking custodian. But, shit. I feel like I put in a lot of fucking effort. I feel like I work my ass off for the most part. Could I improve? Probably. And I feel like I am improving. But like I said, that's something that's helped me in my work ethic, I feel like from when I started being a custodian, I've improved 100 times more than what I was back in the past. And, my boss has said that before. I've had a lot of people say that to me. He's like, you've shown a lot of improvement. And that shit kind of makes you feel good, when you always want to be better than who you were yesterday. And that's kind of like a really good rule that I like to live by and like to tell a lot of people, be better than who you were a fucking month ago. I said it's all right to be okay with who you are, but it's also good to want improvement, to want to be better. And Miles getting fucking dry talking about this shit. I'd probably go on and on. I said I wish I had, people joining me today. That'd be fucking awesome, but no, I guess I'm doing this by myself. So, you know, another thing I really want to hit this, this whole so suicide's a pretty deep topic to talk about, and my advice to anybody who's watching this is, and I've watched a lot of people talk about it. Like I said, one of my favorite people I like to listen to is Jordan Peterson. He's a psychologist. He knows a lot about this shit, and I've listened to it to help other people. If you have fucking problems like this, you know, get help, man. There's nothing wrong with help. If you gotta fucking take medicine, take medicine. You know, if you, I said, and people who know somebody in their life, support them. Want better for them too, but know that kind of let them know you've got to want it for yourself too. It's hard, I know, but like I said, if you need help, get the fucking help. There's nothing wrong with it. So, just want to say that real fast. Very serious fucking topic. That's why the title is digging deep into yourself. Yeah, so hopefully people kind of listen to this and be like, fuck, some crazy shit. I'm actually gonna do post notes in my mirror now. I've already got shit written down, but I feel like I need some more. Yeah, I fucking need more. Really want to work on my running a lot. That'd be fucking great. So, another last thing that I'm actually pretty passionate about is phones. A lot of people are fucking on their phones. And the reason I say this is obviously like I said, I'm not a fucking perfect person, but I've definitely improved a lot on my fucking phone. So I was doing a lot of research. I couldn't find the paper, but phone time, you know, phone time has definitely affected a lot of people. So one of the things that I was looking up, facts about phones and shit like that. As you always do if you want to learn about shit. But like, there's a correlation of people that are depressed and sad and phone time usage. People who have these problems have a higher time of phone use. They're on their phone a lot more. I can't remember how many fucking hours the average person's on their phone. I mean, it's a crazy amount of hours, and you're like, if I just decrease that by a lot, I could fucking do a lot more shit. But one of the things that I've kind of practiced and like I said, I've been a lot better at is, whenever you go out with friends, put the phones away, keep them in the car. Don't be on them as much. That's kind of something that I really kind of find cool. So I wish a lot of people would do that. I mean, like every time I go out to eat or something, I look around and I'm like, dude, look at all these fucking people on their phones. You get a family of 4 over there and they're not even talking to each other. It's like no wonder why people are so fucked up. You got people looking at their phones without interacting. One of the quotes, I can't remember who did this quote, but it was like, the more time we spend on our phones, the less time we have for real person interaction, real relationships. Everyone's so focused on how many likes they're gonna get or what kind of fucking shit's posted. It's like who the fuck cares about that shit? I mean, I post some silly shit sometimes, but fuck. So like phone time, I mean, that's definitely something that'll really fucking help out a lot. They say I was reading it's like 2 to 4 hours before bedtime. Just lay off the screen time. It's like so your body's naturally supposed to wake up to the sun's light that hits your face, and it releases like a chemical in your brain to wake you up. And that when you're on your phone before bed, it like fucks up your whole like system. It's releasing chemicals real slow. You don't notice it. And obviously, I'm only 20, so I'm pretty millennial age. I know, and I'm like pretty much like last couple years of my life, I've spent on my phone before bed. You don't really notice the effect right away, but like give it a week. 2 to 4 hours before bed, lay off your phone. You'll sleep so much fucking better. You'll feel a lot better about yourself. Never, people will be like, "Oh, I did it for a day. I don't feel any difference." It's like, all right, you got to do it for like a month. You got to do it over time. This stuff takes progress, but that's something that really fucking kind of helps out a lot too. But phones, that's something that I've really talked about, and people know that. If you know me, I'm really passionate about not being on our phone. If you're out with friends, man, enjoy the time. If you're going out to do something, if you're just going to fucking Walmart, which is what we do a lot, fucking keep the phones at home and just enjoy the time you have with those people. So that's something that really helps out a lot of people. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much fucking out of ideas now. I mean, shit. Oh, fuck, I missed a key point. So this motherfucker, David Goggins. No, it's one of these fucking crazy things. Like, how the fuck? Right before he joined the SEALs, he had to lose 106 pounds in 3 months. It's like, what the fuck? Also, a key point I missed. Not really important, but he's had a bunch of fucking obstacles that he had to overcome. Like I said, it opened my mind. What obstacles can I overcome in my life? My like, ask yourself. What's holding me back? You know, am I just fucking? Do I just not want to wake up to my alarm? Fuck, set an alarm for. I mean, a lot of people have different schedules, but I mean, mine's pretty good. Set an alarm for 8 o'clock. Wake up to it. I mean, that's another fucking goal. You set an alarm for 8. You wake up. Boom. You've already done one thing. Alarm. Make your bed. Fucking do something else. Take out the trash. Shit. Fold laundry. You've already done goals right away as soon as you wake up. So that's good shit right there. That's something I said a lot of small goals lead to bigger goals, Do that all day, Or make a list in the morning of shit you want to do. 10 things, And then maybe in the next week do 15 things you want to do or 20 or small increments like one day I'll do 5 things, the next day I'll do 6, you know. Then you're always doing shit and you feel good about yourself. You're always feeling better. So yeah, that's that motivational shit. I plan on having people on to talk about this too. I got a good friend of mine that I really like to talk about this, but like I said, one thing is book, Master Your Mind and Defy the Odds. I mean, fuck. This book, man. I mean, came from fucking nothing, pushed himself, and made something of himself. I mean, that's some fucking inspirational shit. It's kind of like a book review almost, like I did movie reviews, like a book review now. So that's him. I hope a lot of people listen to this. Said like I said, some of the shit that I said, you know, most people only operate at 40% of what they can. I feel like that. I feel like that's true. I mean, definitely for me, I can't probably speak for everybody, but if you only feel like you're operating at 40%, see what you can do to push yourself. So be the best at what you can do. If you're fucking, I mean, shit. I don't. It doesn't matter what you do. Be the best at it. So, treat yourself like someone you're responsible for treating. Treat yourself how you'd want to treat your kid. You want your kid to be the best thing to be. Want that for yourself as well. So stuff like that, man. That's some good shit right there. I got really nothing else to talk about for this episode. I've gone on for 37 minutes. Probably not the best 37 minutes of your life, but I feel like it definitely will be. I definitely hope that people kind of keep an open mind about this. I feel like I definitely have a lot. So I said, in your life, kind of look at some of the stuff. What can I do? I always tell people, I was like, start small, make your bed. Like I said, make your bed every morning. You've already done one thing. You start knocking out small goals, you get to bigger goals. If you want to go, lose weight, which is obviously one of the big things for a lot of people, just get to the gym. The hardest part about the gym is getting to the gym. Once you get there, everything's easy. You got pictures on the machines, you just start doing it. So getting to the gym is the hardest part. Once you get there, you're golden. So I hope this episode touched a lot of people in a way. Hopefully I didn't, explain it terribly wrong. So I said 2 books I really recommend. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules of Life and David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me. Those 2 books are books that I've read. And like I said, really fucking opened my mind about shit. So, yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in for today's episode of the podcast. I hope it was a good one. I feel like it was a good one. So, I will see everybody later. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on what subscribe. Comment on what you think I did really well. Comment maybe on something. I mean, I'd kind of like to see, like if you want to comment on like something you want to work on in your life, just to kind of share it with me. I like to listen. I like to hear about it. Maybe I'll reply back or something. So, if you feel like you could work on something in your life, comment about it, So hit the bell button. We go live all the time on these videos because I still don't know how to edit shit. So it's always going to be live. So if I fuck up, it's fucked up. So Well, I'll see you guys next time on episode, whatever the next episode is, 5, 6, whatever. So, peace.